Hey everyone, it's KS here again, and this is an update from a video that we previously posted on the 28th of April. And shortly after, on the 8th of May, the government talks about how buying by way of trust will be subjected to 35% ABSD, so on and so forth. So, with that latest intervention by the government, what me and my team has done is that we have added and also updated the previous video. You can click on the link on the top right corner over here, and that's where you will be able to learn how we can still buy in way of trust again. All right, so just get your notebook ready and we'll see you on the video itself. Take care.
If you're doing a trust, okay, and in favor of your godson, for example, or your goddaughter, you must be perfectly okay with the fact that this is his or her property. Full stop. There's no buts, there's no if.
So next, we then talk about the Holy Grail. How are we going to move to that Holy Grail, which is the landed condo and trust property? All right. So in this instance, the step-by-step here is securing that additional property by way of trust. And Cannis will be sharing with you what is the so-called condition that you need to fulfill when you buy in trust, because there is a lot of condition and many people are not aware of that. They are just being introduce the idea that you buy in trust, you don't need to pay additional stamp duties and whatnot, okay? And you can basically use your children's name that's below 21 years old to buy. But what they do not know, it comes with a string of conditions, okay? So this is the condition, and I'll let Cannis run through you.
The principle is that how you save stamp duty, okay, is that in Singapore, okay, IRAS feels that who holds the beneficial interest, okay, in the property as the primary determinant, okay? So who is the ultimate beneficiary of this property? So obviously, if your beneficiary of this property by way of a trust arrangement is going to be someone who's under 21, okay, who's a Singaporean or American citizen or who doesn't own any other property, okay, that's where your stamp duty savings arise, okay? And to a great extent, most of the trust deeds that we do up for you, you will still retain all of the rights as the legal owner in relation to this property. So you will be able to freely sell, okay, transact, rent out this property, deal with the property, very much as if it is your own. So because you are considered the legal owner of the property.
Okay, great. So what Cannis just mentioned is that the primary determinant holds the beneficial interest. So basically the one that buy in their name, you're buying the children's name, the children has that basically power, all right? We talk about ABSD savings, yes, there is, because you are buying in full cash as well, okay? And you retain the right as the legal owner at the end of this journey altogether, okay? So next, we then talk about how are the implications like. So here is the implication. Let's go. Next thing here is, what are the possible implications of buying in trust? Is there anything that consumers need to take note of when toying with this manner of purchase? So probably you can share a bit on the broad view picture. If there's scenario, that'd be great. If there's no scenario, maybe the fundamentals of it. Yeah.
Okay, I think the starting point is that it's a full cash purchase. Okay, one of the questions that arise is, hey, what if I use partially CPF? No, it doesn't work. It has to be a full cash purchase, okay, in relation to the purchase by way of trust. That I think is the starting point. Second thing, when can you sell this property? Okay, I'll be the first to admit that there is, because of some of the changes in the Insolvency Act, okay, oh yeah, and maybe before I go there, okay, the trust that is created must be irrevocable. So effectively, this means that this property that you buy by way of trust is irrevocably, okay, given, okay, to your child or to whoever the beneficiary is. So you must be perfectly okay with that, okay. If you are doing a trust, okay, and in favor of your godson, for example, or your goddaughter, you must be perfectly okay with the fact that this is his or her property. Full stop. There's no buts, there's no if, okay? Buying in trust is only applicable to private property, okay? Theoretically, you can do the same for HDB, but it requires their consent, and they're not going to give consent, okay, from our experience on this. So generally it's restricted to private properties. And then so when one of the little tangents, okay, one of the little points of contention, the only, I would dare say, gray area right now, okay, when buying by way of trust, okay, is the time frame as to when you can sell it. Okay, there's a lot of rumor and hearsay, okay, out there, unfortunately, okay, but a lot of it can be boiled down to this: when can you sell the trust property? Okay, and there are basically two schools of thought on this. Okay, and because there's no case law that spells it out, okay, both of these schools of thought are correct. Okay, so one school of thought basically says that 3 years, okay, from when you do up the trust deed, from when you purchase the property, okay, you're free thereafter to go and sell it. That is the more aggressive, okay, school of thought. Okay, so this school of thought is supposed to originate from legal opinion created by lawyers, okay, from senior counsels and all that. Okay, that's the hearsay lah. Okay, and unfortunately some of this is hearsay. Okay, the other school of thought which I ascribe to, unfortunately, okay, basically says that, okay, only after all payments have been made, then your 3 years start. Okay, that is my very conservative school of thought, okay, that I come from.
So basically, I guess what is so important here is the liquidity, which is the time you are able to sell. And that's exactly the last point that Cannis has mentioned. So you look at the last blue tab at the bottom, it says suggested 3 years after payments are completed, you may sell. So what is this? What does this mean? And especially so when you're buying properties under construction. But if you're buying resale, it's quite straightforward. On the day you become the legal owner, 3 years later basically is where you can exit, provided that basically the timeline is of the exit makes sense for you as well. Okay, so over here, let me just show you how it looks like if you're buying something under BUC, because the payments are progressively being dispersed. So for a completed payment to be made, it's going to be a bit more tricky, right? So keynotes and tips on trust over here. First thing first, we learned that from a landed and a condo, you want to move into a landed and 2 condos. And for us to buy that additional condo, we need to basically have full cash to pay, especially so we are buying in trustee. So usually when you apply full cash purchase, where does the cash come from? So in this instance, we will actually get it from that existing lender that you have, because we're going to remortgage that lender, and that lender itself would actually, if it's whole for a period of time really, it should give you some form of, you know, disparity in pricing from the date that from the outstanding loan that you have right now, comparing to the current market valuation that we're going to execute this trust purchase. Okay, so loan wise, because this is remortgaging, you can actually go up to 75 minus your age again that we learned just now. We're not taking a brand new, buying a brand new property for that loan. We are basically remortgaging, so it's under repricing. So we can take 75 minus your age, and the monthly repayment should be pretty affordable. Next, we then talk about the exit, because the timeline is something that we need to adhere to. Okay, and Cannis says that it's got to be 3 years after the full payment is being made. So we need to exit the property aligning to your investment horizon. That means how long do you think you want to pay full cash, put this money, lock in here in this property for, before you use it for your next so-called intent. So in this instance, we will make sure that we apply the urban transformation fundamentals in terms of this exit milestone to allow you to exit with optimum returns, and then use it again for another property purchase if needed, or even education or whatnot. All right. So how does that 3 years looks like in this instance? It means that if you count from date of TOP, all right, we still have a year to finance the last disbursement before the loan has been fully disbursed. Okay, so if you count from TOP, it will be 4 years from TOP. That's where you are able to sell that property. So it has a longer holding period, not just the seller stamp duty. Okay, so we are talking about that 4 years from date of TOP, or if not 3 years from CSC, which is that last payment you made before the entire trust deed is given to you or to the bank.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video that was shared by me and my team. And of course, again, we were happy to have Cannis on board with us to uncover and untangle all the different myths and debunking of them as well. So again, if you like what you've seen, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that's where you get to learn and of course get the latest updates on what's beneath just the sales floor. All right, so we hope to see you again very soon.